Nothing describes a Brazilian better than what you just seen me do. The whole world knows Brazil and Brazilians with one thing: football. From the likes of Pele, Zico, Romario, Ronaldinho, and so on and so forth. You know that Brazilians have produced great football stars and talents that are still ruling the world today. But that's not all about Brazil. You want to know how Christianity entered into Brazil? You want to know about the population of Brazil? You want to know about the racial composition of Brazil? And many other things. Beloved, who were the original inhabitants of Brazil? The Amerindians. They were the original inhabitants of Brazil. And in the 16th century, when the Spaniards and the Portuguese arrived Brazil, when they were exploring the world, they got to the Americas and arrived Brazil. And they began to enslave the Amerindians. When most of them began to die, and so on and so forth. So they didn't have enough labor to handle their sugar plantations, the textile industries, and all that things they were doing, the tobacco industries and so on. So they needed more labor. And they thought about Africa. You know, the African man, they believe, is very strong. So that was why they began to come to Africa. And they began to import slaves, blacks, from Africa, especially West Africa, Central Africa, to Brazil. It is estimated that about 4 million to 5 million blacks were taken from Africa to faraway Brazil as slaves. About 15% of these slaves died on the way in the ship because of cold, because of exhaustion, because of heartbreaks. While on arrival, after a distance of about 2,575 kilometers, that's about 1,600 miles, from West Africa to the eastern part of Brazil, most of them died of exhaustion. Most of them were tired. And on arrival, about 10% or 20% of them died. But beloved, those that survived were maltreated. They passed through all kinds of inhuman treatments. It is said that each day, a slave will receive about 40 lashes of the cane on the back. They were made to walk in difficulties. But beloved, we are not saying this to incite anybody. We are not saying this to provoke anyone or to talk about reparations. No, but we are saying this so that the errors of the past will not be repeated. The mistakes of the past will not be repeated. Beloved, how did Christianity enter into Brazil? These Spaniards and the Portuguese that arrived Brazil in the 16th century came with their Catholic missionaries, and they began to teach the people about Christianity. Then after that, the Anglicans arrived, the Lutheran Church arrived, and so on and so forth. But the last that arrived were the Swedish. They brought Assemblies of God and began to plant Assemblies of God all over Brazil. And one of those good things they did was to make the indigenous people of Brazil pastors. And Pentecostalism began to spread all over Brazil. Today, Brazil has a mixture of Orthodox and non-Orthodox churches, Protestants, Pentecostals, and Pentecostalism is rising very high. Before this time, even right now, you know that Brazil has the highest number of Catholics in the world. Brazil has a population of 212 million people. And out of these 212 million people, making Brazil the 7th largest country in the world after Nigeria, which has about 237 million people. Out of these 212 million people that Brazil has, 126.8 million are Catholics right now as I speak with you. So Pentecostalism has not really gone very high, though it's spreading gradually. Beloved, the largest city in Brazil is Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo was the first to become the capital of Brazil. Later it was moved to Rio de Janeiro, and from Rio de Janeiro, in year 1960, Brasilia was made the capital of Brazil, and that's what it is still today. The largest city is Sao Paulo, having about 11.9 million people. Beloved, we just want to tell you a little about Brazilians. If you get to Brazil, it's filled with blacks and mixed color. Do you know that 55.5% of Brazilian population are Negroes or blacks? Either pure black or Negroes, mixed colors. So beloved, that's why the place is filled with blacks. Why? Because about 4 to 5 million blacks were taken from Africa to Brazil. It's estimated that the highest number, 40% of black slaves that arrived in the Americas were bettered in Brazil or disembarked on the soil of Brazil. You know that Brazil is very close to Africa. When you look at the map, the eastern part of Brazil, a town known as Santos dos Sezes, is about 2,575 kilometers from Africa. That means Brazil, eastern part of Brazil is closer to Africa than from eastern part of Brazil to western part of Brazil, which is about 4,000 and something kilometers. That was why the slave traders were preferring Brazil as a route to Africa. I want to say and let you know that the African blacks that were taken as slaves were categorized into two. The people from the Bantu and also the people from the Bight of Benin. The Bight of Benin include Nigeria, especially the Oyo Kingdom, Yorubas, were taken en masse, while people from the Bantu region, that's Congo and Angola, were moved into Brazil. Beloved, we are not inciting anybody, but the mistakes of the past will never be repeated. So Christianity is growing, and we're just using the opportunity to let you know that if you're there, you've not given your life to Jesus, please do that. And if you're there, you've given your life to Jesus, tell others about Jesus. Somebody took the gospel to Brazil. Thank God salvation is taking place there now. So we want to end it here. We learn more about Brazilians. We talk more about them, their dances, their samba, and all kinds of things, their cuisines, and their love, even for the blacks that made them to habit them and put an end to slave trade in 1888, precisely on the 13th of May, 1888, making Brazil the last of all American countries to abolish slave trade. God bless you. Please, I would like you to subscribe, to like this video, and share. If you do that, you're helping us, and you're helping the kingdom of God to spread. I'm waiting for you to do that. Don't just watch. I'm waiting for you. Subscribe, like it, share. God bless you for doing that. We love you, and we'll see you some other time with other stories that are inspiring, that will make Christianity to blossom. God bless you. See you.